Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Friday the 14th of June. I'm coming at you from a very rainy and somewhat cold Northern England. It doesn't feel like the middle of June. So the footage that you're watching on your screen right now was actually from yesterday when it wasn't raining. Alright, so we're going to stick with the Sebastian Rogers case today, and I want to pick up on some points that people put in my comment section based on yesterday's video. So yesterday was very busy. 3 different cases covered. So I did Sebastian Rogers in the morning, then I released a video on Madeline Soto in the afternoon, and then in the evening my time did a live stream on Rex Homan and attorney John Ray's very controversial press conference regarding Rex Homan's daughter Victoria. So I forgive you if you haven't got through all that yet. But if you're following all 3 cases, then please do go and check out what I said yesterday. And thank you to the person who sent me the Stearns files. So this is the full 896 pages that was released a few days ago. You've got to love Florida for how open they are. So what I'm going to be doing is a mini-series called the Stearns Files, and it's going to be live streams, but they're only going to be quite short, under an hour, so that I chop it up into manageable chunks, easier for people to watch, and we're going to go through the entire lot. I went through the entire 1,000+ pages of the Chris Watts discovery, like breaking it up into lots of different videos, so I'm going to do the same here. That's to come on the channel. Okay, let's get into this video, the latest on Sebastian Rogers. Let's go. I want to give you a heads up, first of all, on Cluminati's channel, Overnight My Time. I've just finished watching it. There was a family friend of Katie and Seth who has spoken out. So it was a really, really interesting panel. She answered a lot of questions and she filled in a lot of blanks. And some of what she said, in my opinion, is very concerning. Not in a drama type way, not in an exaggerated type way. I fully believe everything she was saying. She was in the Navy when Katie was in California. And she knew Sebastian. I think she met him, she said, when he was like 4 or 5, and she knew Sebastian like well for several years while Katie and Seth lived in California with Sebastian, and she was there throughout the divorce. She was very fair, and she said Seth was a good dad in a lot of respects, clearly loved Sebastian very much, but he was a very angry man. She suggested he could be on the autism spectrum, but just undiagnosed. And I can see that. I can see that. He's very oppositionally defiant, if you want a technical term, in my opinion. But yeah, he's very angry. He's very angry. He's not good with people. And just what we've seen about him trusting all the wrong people, I can fully appreciate why he may have lots of problems in his life. When he was in California, he was also quite lazy, like he wouldn't work. He said he was, looking after Sebastian, which he was. But once Sebastian started school, there was absolutely no reason why he couldn't get a job, even part-time. And apparently, the military are very good at providing childcare, free of charge childcare. Lots of schools have after-school clubs and things like that. So there was no reason why Seth couldn't work. But he didn't. Excuse after excuse after excuse. Now, he did get a job at one point. This was like through the divorce, or maybe just before the divorce, in security. But yeah, he just wanted to stay at home playing video games all day. He's never grown up. And the way he approaches things, the way he approaches confrontation, the way he approaches people, it's very immature. She said he's never got over Katie. He's obsessionally in love with Katie still. Now, I've said this many times, as of many, many people, that Seth's love and obsession for Katie has become hate. They're just two sides of the same coin. And he just can't leave it alone. He's never got over her. He's responded to this breakup like a teenager would. Right? Just completely over the top. And he hates Katie because he loves her. Yeah. Yeah. One time he hit Sebastian up the side of the head. Doesn't appear that he did any damage, but this was because he got angry that Katie and this friend finished work, came round to Katie's place, and they had a pool. Katie, the friend, and Sebastian went in the pool, just like splashing around. Seth came ranting out of the house, saying Sebastian was grounded and how dare he go swimming when he's grounded, and why didn't you tell your mother that you were grounded? And of course a little boy isn't going to tell his mother he's grounded when she gives him the opportunity to go swimming. So complete overreaction, but that's Seth all over, isn't it? And again, I do not believe Seth has anything to do with the disappearance of Sebastian, not directly, nor Katie, nor Chris, not directly. I do think the situation has a lot to do with it, though. Very worthy of a watch here. Please do go and check it out. The final thing I'll say about it was that she really hammered home just how trusting Sebastian is. Like, one of the questions was, you know, we've heard conflicting stories that in lots of ways he's just a regular teenager. In lots of ways, he's very responsible. Like, he can stay on his own for 12 to 16 hours when his dad's working. But then again, he's got the mind of a 10-year-old. And she said, well, both are actually true. Now, she hasn't seen Sebastian in person for several years since they left California, but she keeps in regular contact with Katie, so I think she's aware of the current situation with Sebastian. She said both are true, that in many ways he is just a typical teenager, but in other ways, to do with social skills, he's still stuck at a 10-year-old level. So if somebody said, do you want to come and see my puppies? He'd say, yeah, of course I do. Because he doesn't have that level of mistrust that children develop as they grow. Somebody he's met on his games console, somebody he's met in the local community. I had a really interesting comment yesterday. Somebody said, what if he'd met someone at the school? Like through the school. What if somebody gave him a burner phone and said, you know, hide this from your parents, but I'll contact you on this phone? And that's why he didn't take his phone with him, because he had another phone. It's very possible. All of this stuff is very, very possible. So that brings me on to the light. So yesterday we talked about this light that just shows up outside of corner neighbour's house. This is corner neighbour's house, right here. Here. There's the camera that catches the lights at something past 5 over on Honeysuckle, which Chris and Seth say is a trash truck because that's what law enforcement has told them, although they won't confirm that to the public. At something past 3, now this is according to Kellen neighbour, the actual surveillance footage is stuck. It's stuck on 3/11. It's not even the right date because it's just stuck. It's actually stuck on 2023, 24th of February 2023, 3:11:04. So the timer just hasn't worked since then. It's just stuck, which is such a shame because if we had a timestamp here, we could fit that into the timeline as a definite. I said that the vehicle whose lights this is in the road. It's a headlight in the road. So I had a lot of comments saying, well, what if it was the taillight and the vehicle was facing the other way? Yeah, could have been. Absolutely could have been. I just assumed that it had come in and then the light becomes visible as it turns the corner. So it looks like it just suddenly turns on, but it doesn't. It's just, the camera's just caught it. And it's pulled in like this. That's what I kind of assumed. But yeah, could be a tail light, because it could have gone up there and then gone round like that and parked there. And also people said, well, it doesn't look like it's parked on the road. If we play this, you can see vehicle there, and then this is the driveway, like you can't see because it's dark, but this is the grass verge, that's the mailbox. You've got the light on the house opposite, which is near the garage. You've got the floodlights, now there the light turns on. And this person zooms in, which is proper annoying. But the lights have just gone off the screen now. The floodlights further down Stafford. And could be a headlight, could be a tail light, could absolutely be a tail light. This is the road. And this, as many people pointed out, is the grass verge on the opposite side of the road. So it's definitely not on the driveway. It's definitely not on the driveway of this house here. It's too close. It's too close. I mean, look at the distance between this vehicle right here, this grass verge, and you can see the grass verge there. You can see like the drainage ditch. So if you go back to Street View again. So what I think is this vehicle's half on the road and half on this grass verge. I think it's pulled in on this grass verge. And the lights are lighting up this drainage ditch. It's definitely not at this house here. But yeah, I think it's pulled in on the side of the road. It could be a tail light, could be a headlight. It doesn't really matter what direction it's facing. It's just pulled in there. Very strange. Very strange. If only we knew the time. Now, listen. Here's a theory. This is just a speculation. What if there was actually two people that went to beat Sebastian? He'd arranged to meet someone, and what if that friend knew the local area, told him to meet him on the construction site? And that's why we've got this dog track going up Kelling and then onto the construction site. It's why Max, the German Shepherd, jumped into the pond. It's why one of the dogs hit on a dumpster, probably because there was just some scent pool in there. So this friend met him, and then what if there was a person in a vehicle waiting right there, had their lights on just to see that Sebastian maybe was coming out. Once Sebastian had got up here, this vehicle doesn't have to have its lights on, so wasn't caught on any cameras, comes flying up here, grabs Sebastian, and straight back out. Didn't trigger any cameras because there's no lights on. Or could have off-roaded it a bit through the construction site. Just a theory. Based on this new information, until law enforcement come out and debunk it, if law enforcement come out and debunk it, good. Theories develop as more information comes in. Once some information is refuted, then you refine your theory. That's how it works. That's how investigation works, or at least it should do, if you're not suffering from a serious bout of confirmation bias. I think my original theory, my theory one, that he was lured away by someone, I think has become my number one theory again. It dropped down to number two. That theory covers all the variables that we know to date. The dog track, the fact that law enforcement wouldn't say what those lights were, that it was 2 hours later, and the fact that Sebastian is so trusting. Kind of all fits, doesn't it? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. She's like a girl. Good boy, Noodle. Good boy.